We studied the globe last week, and we studied about the large bodies of land that are on the globe and the large bodies of water. What are the names of the large bodies of land on the globe called? Continents. How many continents are there? Seven. And we talked last week, we did a really fun video to help us remember what the name of each continent is. And I sent you a little picture of the continents. Keep looking at that this week because we'll have a test on that on Friday. What about the large bodies of water? What is that called? Oceans. And how many oceans are there? There are 5 oceans. So this week, we are going to just change gears a little bit and talk about the United States a little bit and what continent that's on. And we already talked about that. Do you remember what continent we live on? We live in North America. If you look right there at the picture there, you will see this is North America, and North America's up there as well, but that's not part of the United States. North America's down here as well, but that's not part of the United States. This part that's all colorful here, that is the United States. It is in North America. So we're going to talk about the weather and how the weather changes from one part of the United States to another part of the United States. And then we're going to also talk this week about how we can keep the world that God gave us and protect the world that God gave us, what we can do. So God gave us a beautiful world, and He gave it to us for us to enjoy it. He made lots of beautiful things in our world. Although no longer perfect, it is still an awesome world that we live in. And we need to do our part, and we need to take care of it. That's going to be toward the end of the week. Look right here at the map of the United States that's in front of you. Do you know how many states we have in the United States of America? There are 50 states. If you were to count every one of these little things with the lines right there, you would see that there are 50 states in the United States of America, which is in the continent of North America. And sometimes it's so different. Some parts of our state, let me pull up this book and I can show you this. There's different things in the United States that make each part of the world really, really beautiful. There are things in Florida that we have that not everybody gets to experience. Do you know something in Florida that makes Florida different than, let's just say, Denver? What makes our area different than Denver? Do you know? Look around our area. What do you see around us that we don't see in Denver? You see, we've got water all around us, right? 3 parts of our state is surrounded in water, only one part isn't. That's a beautiful part that we have in Florida that not every state gets to enjoy. So there are things that Denver has, though, that we don't have in Florida. If you look at some of these pictures here, I have a picture here for you. That's a picture of a beautiful snow-covered mountain. And in Florida, we don't have snow-covered mountains, do we? Ours is a little flatter. We have the ocean. We have lots of sun. We have the heat, but we do not have snow-covered mountains. So Denver's beautiful. It just looks different than Florida. There's some parts of the world, and it would be down here, that are more desert and it's flat and it's hot. And so that's some parts of our world. It's flat, it's hot, some is dry, some are mountains, and the mountain is higher than the flat land. And again, like we said, and some is by the water. So God made us a beautiful world for us to enjoy. And there's all different weather around the world. We know right here, if we look at this map, that Florida is hot. It's kind of lit up with red. It is a hot place to live. I mean, I love the heat. I love that it's hot in Florida. That's one of the reasons why I live here. But not all the United States is hot. There are parts if you go north. Now, if I want to head north from Florida, would I go up or would I go down? North from Florida would be heading up. Never, right? And this part of the world is definitely colder than Florida. If I wanted to go see a lot of, there's mountains all around. There's mountains up here, but if I really wanted some good mountains out this direction, and I started from Florida and up here north of Florida, which direction would I go? Remember which direction that is? West. Never eat soggy waffles north, east, south, west. That would be west. And then west has different kinds of weather than we have in Florida as well. So weather changes all different ways in different places that we live and different seasons that we live in makes our weather change. So as we head north and it gets closer to winter, they're going to get colder, right? Or if we head west even closer to winter, they're going to get colder. So we're going to learn about something called the water cycle. And did you know that water goes in a circle? Water goes in a circle. Yes, it does. It goes up as evaporation. It forms a cloud in condensation, and then it falls in precipitation. Yes, it does. So we're going to be studying the weather and how weather changes and how precipitation falls. Sometimes it'll fall cold if the weather's cold, but it's still precipitation. Sometimes it'll fall as rain. It is still precipitation. So we're going to study that today, and I'm going to have a video for you in just a moment. This video on the water cycle.
I think it might rain soon. Maybe we should go inside. Whoa! Rain is a part of our planet's water cycle. What is the water cycle? Most of Earth is covered in water, but water doesn't just stay in our rivers, lakes, and oceans. Water moves through land and through the air. The water cycle is the movement of water on, above, and below the surface of the earth. It's a good thing it's not raining here. You're right, Moby. It's pretty sunny. The sun helps power the water cycle. What happens when water heats up? Energy from the sun heats up water in lakes, oceans, and other bodies. When water heats up, it can evaporate or turn from a liquid to a gas. Liquid water turns into a gas called water vapor. You can't always see water vapor, but it's all around us. Water vapor floats up into the atmosphere. The atmosphere is the air surrounding a planet. What happens to water vapor in the atmosphere? The air high above land is very cool. As water vapor rises into the atmosphere, it cools down. Then the water vapor condenses, or changes from a gas to a liquid. Tiny drops of condensed water join together to form bigger drops. As more drops join together, clouds are formed. You're right, Moby. That cloud looks like Senor Maurice. Clouds can collect and travel across the land. As more water condenses and collects in the clouds, it becomes too heavy to stay in the air. What is precipitation? Precipitation is water that falls to the earth from the sky. Rain, snow, sleet, and hail are all kinds of precipitation. The kind of precipitation that falls depends on temperature and a lot of other things. When enough water collects in the air and clouds, it begins to fall to the ground. What happens to precipitation? Water from precipitation can add to rivers and streams, or end up in the ocean. Some water soaks into the ground and stays under the Earth's surface. This is called groundwater, which is an important resource. We use groundwater for drinking water, watering crops, and many other things. Some water that falls back to Earth's surface flows down to reach rivers, lakes, and oceans. This is called runoff. Then the sun can heat up the water again, and the cycle keeps going and going and going and going and going. Right, you get the idea. How can we care for our water? Water is an important natural resource that people, plants, and animals all need to live. But pollution can harm our environment. When water gets polluted, it's everyone's problem. Even though most of our planet is covered by water, very little of it is fresh water that we can drink and use. It's important to conserve or save water. We can take shorter showers, turn off the faucet when we're not using it, and tell grown-ups when we see a leak. If everyone in the United States saved 1 gallon of water a day, we could save 85 billion gallons of water per year. That's enough to fill a lake. I bet we can find tons of ways to save water, Moby. Hey, great idea. Oh no, you're leaking.
So God had a plan for us to water our earth, to water our crops, and it's by the water cycle, right? When the rain comes down, it waters the crops, it fills our lakes, it gives us drinking water. So that is the water cycle. And this week we are going to be studying tomorrow we're going to be studying more about the water cycle. We'll learn a fun song to help us remember it. And then we will, toward the end of the week, how can we use the resources that God gave us to help take care of the earth that He gave us to enjoy. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned a little bit about the water cycle. We'll study more of that tomorrow.